What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. We are officially a couple weeks out from week 0 of the college football season. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, again, 2 weeks from today, Saturday, as you can see, August 24th, week 0 will begin. I realize it says week 1 here, but it is week 0 because some of these teams still play in week 1. Now, there are only a couple, important games here we're going to touch on. Really only one, but we'll talk about two here. To be honest with you, I really don't know what the point of having a week 0 is if only 6 FBS schools are going to even play in it. Uh, it's borderline pointless besides just giving somebody something to talk about, I guess. But let's go ahead and talk about it, though, regardless. So Florida State kicks off their season. This is the big game of this first week that could have some implications going forward. You got Florida State at Georgia Tech, morning game, noon kickoff on ESPN and the ACC Network. This is probably going to be a good one. Georgia Tech, they've got a lot of guys coming back from last season. Haynes King at quarterback in particular is kind of the guy for me that I think is good enough to beat Florida State here. Florida State, though, they've got a complete roster revamp. We know how last year went, ended up missing out on the college football playoff. This is a complete roster overhaul. Everybody almost went pro that was significant for them last year. But with that being said, they have a lot of talent coming into the portal. So you've almost got new talent that hasn't meshed together yet with Florida State versus a solid team last year, I think like 4th or 5th in the ACC, and Georgia Tech that has some guys coming back that have played together before, know how to play together, which I think makes this game actually a coin flip almost. I think in the long run, Florida State has the better chance to win the ACC. If these teams were to play a few weeks down the line, I might feel a little differently here because Florida State would, be given time to kind of mesh with each other, break in their weapons, figure out who plays better at this position, then so and so and so on. But you've got DJ Uiagalelei at quarterback for Florida State versus Georgia Tech and Haynes King. I'm going to actually lean Georgia Tech here. I believe Florida State's favored by quite a bit. Let me pull this up. I forgot to pull this up for you guys. Florida State is favored by 12 in the spread. Okay, so favored by about 2 touchdowns-ish, about in that range. I think it will be closer than that. I think it'll be definitely probably a single-digit game, but I think Georgia Tech actually gets the win here. I know it sounds insane, and again, if they were to play in a few weeks, I'd probably lean Florida State, but as of right now, give me Georgia Tech and Haynes King. I think they have a lot of talent this year, and you can see last year on this little last 5 right here, they gave Georgia a game. They kind of gave them everything they wanted there. I realize that's a rivalry game, but still, they kind of showed they can play with them, and Haynes King is talented enough to beat Florida State by himself, in my opinion. Really good dual threat quarterback. All right, so the next game we're going to talk about here, this is only the second game we're going to talk about during this week, and kind of really the only second one that I would consider watchable here, and that's SMU and Nevada. It's 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. So SMU, as you know, is headed to the ACC from the American Conference. I think they're a borderline top 25 team this year. They have, similar to Florida State, brought in a ton of guys from the portal, but SMU has some guys coming back, though, and the ACC is pretty wide open. SMU last year was kind of in the conversation for that G5 representative in the New Year's Six Bowl. They've got their quarterback back, Preston Stone. He's going to put up small American type numbers. And with what kind of portal talent they've added, like in the trenches in particular, offensive line, defensive line, they've added a ton of power forward talent that should be able to help them compete right away in the ACC. And I think it's going to make them a borderline top 25 team. Spread, as you can see, is at 26. That's probably fair. It's kind of going to – I know it's only a week 0, but if SMU is who I think they are this year, which is, like I said, a top 25 team, I think they win this game by 30. But if they're not, this game might be a little closer than that, closer to probably 20. Because Nevada, even though they weren't very good last year, they did play some games, not in their last 5, as you can see here. But at the beginning of the season, they kind of played closely with some competitive teams. So they could be able to play with SMU. Nevada's offense could be able to score some points, but SMU is just going to be too good in the end and get the dub here. But that is kind of the quick week 0 preview. Like I said, we're not too far away from the actual season starting as far as getting to week 1, which will be that following week in 2 weeks and a half. But 2 weeks away from week 0, that Florida State-Georgia Tech matchup should be a good one to get everything started. I believe they're in, Dublin, Ireland. So, but what are your thoughts on these 2 games? Who do you think wins between Florida State and Georgia Tech? Who do you think wins between SMU and Nevada? Let me know. I will be doing these, kind of every week. I'll be picking like the top 5 to 10 games, kind of giving a quick preview of the week as we move on during the season. So be on the lookout for that. the closer we get to week 1. But let me know your thoughts on those games down in the comment section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.